Hello and welcome to Network. My name is Spumelele Zondi. I hope South Africans are having a fantastic Heritage Weekend. This evening we continue with our tech developed in Africa with the Gau Rider app as we round off Heritage Month. We have info on the South African Innovation Summit. We'll also tell you about the Samsung 4K OLED TV. Our discussion is on why mobile money solutions aren't succeeding in South Africa despite their incredible success in the rest of the continent. We also go to Senegal for an IMF Mobile Money Conference. Find us on SABC Network on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. News Network at sabc.co.za and email. Let's start with your technology and social media news. Entrepreneurs, experts and political leaders discussed how innovation can improve economies at the South African Innovation Summit. There were also hackathons and exhibitors were also there to show off what they do.
In this area,
skills needed in today's economies are largely in the digital space, and a lot of innovation is necessary to ensure people contribute to current and future needs of the country. Ekurhuleni says it continues to host the South African Innovation Summit so the minds at the event can share tips and ideas that answer today's challenges.
This summit, it provides us with that opportunity to mobilize all our communities, young people in particular, to say, come, let's see what is it that we are doing, how do we assist you as government, how do we sit here and come up with a clear program so that the future of this region, the future of the country is actually safe.
Ekurhuleni says it has started doing its part with a partnership with prestigious American university, Massachusetts Institute of Technology.
We actually set up the Fab Labs, the fabrication laboratories. We've actually, with their support, set up about 3 already in some of our township, in Tembisa, in Vosloorus, in Tsakane. We've actually put up those fabrication laboratories. We have another 2 that is coming up in Daveyton and in Thokoza.
Some of those exhibiting at the South African Innovation Summit feel they already have methods that can help.
The beautiful thing about impact, or I guess one of the things one of our ethos is that we're all about co-creating the future. So it's never going to happen in isolation. So the more we can bring people of different sectors to come together and collaborate on ideas that can positively impact society, we're open to it. Yeah, so I mean, yes, there are specific places which focus on, tech entrepreneurs. But if you're a tech entrepreneur working in the social space, Impact Hub would likely be a better fit for you.
Those gathered there could have fun with robotics, hackathons, and technology education.
Now, many sports fans enjoy the atmosphere of a live match. However, many of them are frustrated by the chaos they find in stadiums. That's why SAP says they've developed an app that will help fans and organizers navigate through the chaos.
I think it was more organized during the time when you World Cup because of your seat is allocated guiding number, but now they just sit randomly wherever you can sit.
It was so terrible because of when we got there, the match, we got there an hour before the match started and it was already packed. We had to park our car right behind the stadium. And we had to walk for I think about 10 to 15 minutes in order for us to enter into the stadium.
Those are some of the frustrations that fans are faced with when attending a sports match. But SAP says that can be a thing of the past. They've developed an application that they say will enable fans and organizers to pre-plan for an event. The application promises to enhance fans' experience by guiding them throughout the game. The company says that this app is simple.
In all the sporting codes today, there's massive amounts of data that's already been generated over the history of the various games. But increasingly, as we move forward and we start to put wearables onto players and we start to put more technology into the equipment and courtside and pitch side, there's going to be more and more data coming at us. And really, if we can take that data and process it really, really fast and make it really, really usable in a friendly way for non-technology people, then we can start to add some real value.
This is a cloud-based app running on SAP HANA system. This system mines information from other partner sources and pushes it out in real time. It has been tested on Formula 1 racing cars. Typically, the car has 150 sensors and can produce about 2 gigabytes data per lap.
The secret sauce in SAP HANA is we do all of this in memory. In the platform, so we're not storing data on disks anymore and having to retrieve that and bring it up to the processor to actually work on it. We use the memory of the actual processor chip itself, so we can do this stuff really fast.
Some analysts are happy with the application because they think it's going to curb human error.
I believe once you remove the human element, when you come to calculation, you remove the mistakes from the human. And when the app is doing it, I believe there's fewer mistakes and there's much more accurate information going to the game.
While the technology is used to enhance sports, it's still important for users to know how their information is going to be used.
All right, now a lot of TV manufacturers are pushing for 4K technology to eventually become an industry standard. This is partly because there's now 8K technology, which is the highest definition technology one can get in television nowadays. Until South Africa gets there, LG says they've decided to launch their 4K OLED television. They've combined the 4K technology with OLED television viewing. Take a look. 4K technology is known for a really clear picture, and OLED means organic light emitting diode. These are self-lighting pixels, which means the light that's given out by the television will give you a crisp, clear color. LG has now combined 4K technology with OLED technology to give you the next phase of television in South Africa.
What we did is we had OLED technology and we also had 4K technology. So what we decided to do is we decided to take the best of 4K and the best of OLED and merge the two technologies together. So this way you're not only getting a full HD OLED, but you're getting a 4K resolution OLED TV, which is the next step in technology.
The TV gives you 8 million pixels in your TV. Space photographers Corey and Tanya Schmidt say they have viewed their photographs on the 4K OLED TV screen.
When you're taking photos of space, the stars are very tiny dots, which can go toward the 4K resolution that the new TVs are offering, which we've just seen our photos on the TVs for the first time, and they look beautiful. Mm-hmm. So I think it shows a lot of the resolution that we don't see on our normal computer monitors or phones or even printed graphics. They just look beautiful, and we really like the way they look.
But there's a higher picture quality in television, which is 8K technology.
From an 8K perspective, the 4K only deals with the resolution and the amount of pixels on the TV. Because the content currently that we have is only available in 4K, even with streaming capability only allows you up until 4K. Once the market adopts 8K, we'll probably look at going into that direction. But at the moment, from a streaming capability, only 4K and Full HD and HD are actually rarely available.
Until that comes to our shores, we'll have to do with 4K. The new LG 4K OLED TV has the WebOS 3.0 operating system, which has a zoom feature for that sporting or any other moment that's not so clear. Netflix is already preloaded, and other services like WeChat and YouTube can be downloaded. For the 55-inch 4K OLED TV, you must prepare to spend about 45,000 Rand. Yahoo fell victim to a massive data breach, and Samsung has started giving free Galaxy Note 7 exchanges. These are some of the stories that made tech headlines earlier in the week.
Samsung Electronics of South Korea continues to reel from the effects of the defective batteries of its latest Galaxy Note 7 smartphone. In the country, Samsung began offering free Galaxy Note 7 exchanges this week. Reports in South Korea say Samsung exchanged roughly 20,000 phones with suspect batteries on the first day.
It might actually help Samsung as it sets a new benchmark of quality. So overall, in the long term, this will strengthen Samsung's brand because they kind of set a certain standard of how they value their customers.
Samsung is offering a software update in South Korea which will only allow batteries to charge up to 60% full. It also plans to resume sales of Galaxy Note 7s in South Korea on September 28th, while it reviews circumstances in other markets. Now heading over to the US. Yahoo just admitted it fell victim to a massive data breach that has exposed 500 million user accounts. This development comes just as Yahoo works to complete a $4.8 billion sale of its core web business to Verizon.
The scary thing is I think Yahoo has done steps to protect against, using this data against a Yahoo system. But the data that's out there can be used against other systems. So if you use the same passwords or usernames or recovery information on other services such as Google or anything else out there, they can use that data to get in.
The breach came to light in August when the tech site Motherboard reported that a cyber criminal tried to sell credentials of 200 million Yahoo users for about 20,000 rands. Now heading over to Japan. Japan has dozens of samurai-era castles, but the most elaborate is in the city of Himeji, also known as the White Heron Castle because of its distinctive white plaster. The 17th century fortress reopened in 2015 after a nearly $24 billion renovation. The old castle lately has received a high-tech makeover. An app operating on the same concept as Pokemon Go helps visitors better grasp the fortress's unique history.
Because it's actually our first day to Japan on this trip to the Himeji Castle, and then interestingly, it's a lot of scientific apps helping us to understand the history of the castle, and it's very interactive as well. It's the first time using this kind of app.
Hashtag SABC Network if you want to have a conversation with us, or SABC Network on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. After the break, we talk to Digital Voodoo's Seth Mbele about why mobile money seems to be failing in South Africa. Stay with us.
Police found powerful military explosives when they swooped on a house in Springs on the Gauteng.
Some of the weapons seized at this house included rocket-propelled grenades, rifles, and even rounds of ammunition.
All military explosives that we found that you cannot obtain a commission.
The weapons found at the house not only had the potential to cause major damage to property, but they also put many lives at risk.
I could have lost any one of my family members, or most of my family members.
Welcome back. SABC Network on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. It's hashtag SABC Network as well. Now, Africa is a world leader in mobile money solutions. That's why the International Monetary Fund decided to host a conference to discuss mobile money. This took place in Dakar in Senegal. They say such services could promote access to financial solutions. The International Monetary Fund estimates that only an average of 34% of sub-Saharan Africa's adult population has access to financial services, less than 18% in the West Africa Economic Monetary Union. The fund and the Bank of West African States recently held a conference in Dakar to examine prospects of promoting financial inclusion in the region. And the belief here in Senegal is that mobile banking could be the solution.
The opportunity for the traditional banking to provide new products through the mobile banking. For example, in Kenya, they correct the small deposits by mobile and web. And Côte d'Ivoire, they pay the school fees by mobile. So I don't think it's a failure of the traditional banking. I think that the mobile complements the existing traditional banking system.
Mobile money eliminates trips to the bank. That could help in parts of West Africa where ATMs aren't widely available.
The last Findex shows that the Ivory Coast is among the 5 countries in the world where we have more mobile money accounts than the conventional bank accounts. This really shows the rise and adoption of this solution, but there is still room for improvement. Some potential customers have not been reached, especially in rural areas.
et ruraux. The question we ask is, what share of the adult population can access financial services in the broadest sense? Have a bank account, make bank transfers, make payments. And that's an important question because there's a very clear relationship in economics between financial development and economic growth and poverty reduction.
Analysts say over the coming years, mobile money, electronic payments and new banking technologies will continue their significant contribution to sustainable economic development in the continent. Now, in South Africa, mobile money hasn't been so successful. The country's largest mobile phone network providers, Vodacom and MTN, have closed their mobile money services. Joining me for a discussion about this is Seth Mbele from Digital Voodoo. Hello, and thank you for being a part of our network, sir.
Thanks for having me.
What do you say South Africa is a bit behind because it's failing to succeed in mobile money?
I think we first need to understand the environment that is necessary for mobile money to thrive. And in South Africa, I think the number one issue that we've got is that we've got a very prohibitive legislative framework which doesn't allow any mobile money operator to really innovate within the space.
Let's talk about that framework.
So in terms of the legalities of operating a mobile money, let's take Vodacom and MTN as a primary example. They were forced to partner up with traditional banks in order to provide those services. So there's not much of an incentive for a bank like Standard Bank, or MTN had partnered with Bank of Athens. There's no real incentive for them to push for the mobile money service to work in lieu of the mobile money account.
And would you say that other services that are available in South Africa are hindering this process? For example, there's e-wallet and Shoprite has its own money transfer service.
Yes, there are some certain issues if you look at the business model that the mobile operators had opted for. There's an issue around usability, the user experience itself, what you can and you can't do in terms of transacting. These mobile money accounts were literally to transfer money from one person to another. You couldn't necessarily buy goods or services, transportation, pay bills, and all of those things.
Why is that? Is it because there was no will from, let's say, Vodacom and MTN to do this? M-Pesa, for example, which Vodacom had in South Africa, is doing those things in the DRC, it's doing those things in Kenya. Why not in South Africa?
This, I think, for me, is a primary example of really big organizations trying to do innovative things. And usually it doesn't work because they've got such layers of bureaucracy. This is the space where tech entrepreneurs should be playing, where they should be innovating around where are the gaps in the market and what unique value proposition the smaller outfits can bring to market.
But you think that a big bank, for example, it's Safaricom or a big organization rather, it's Safaricom in Kenya, and they the ones who introduced Kenya. You think because they already have the markets, they already have the clients in the markets, it would be easier for them, no?
No, they had a very distinct strategy to enter the East African market, and that strategy couldn't necessarily be replicated in South Africa. We have very different challenges. We have very different adoption of formalized banking. The numbers, in South Africa, you've got 62% of our population is banked, whereas a couple of years ago, as far back, I think 10 years ago, we're looking at 38% only had bank accounts. So you've seen a situation where it's really shifted, and the traditional banks and also the newer players like Capitec on the lower end of the market have really brought in a lot of people to be banked. But I think there's still a huge opportunity if you're looking at 38% not participating in any way or form in the banking sector.
But Seth, mobile money is now gone with both Vodacom and MTN. Do you think it can still come back?
I think it can come back, and the guys that are really active in this space are the guys that are doing international remittances. For example, if you are working in South Africa and you've got family in Zimbabwe, for example, and you're able to send money across. So that is still really a really big and active and thriving market. And I think the smaller tech entrepreneurs will be able to innovate around the space. The bigger guys, I think this is really not the space for them. Maybe in time they will be buying up all of these small tech firms who really know what they're doing and who are agile and can change and adapt to the legislative framework.
As you refer to those tech entrepreneurs, what do you think they should be doing?
I think they really should be looking at the challenges around money, around carrying money, around transacting and the retail space. You know, for me, the opportunity is that on the continent, the numbers that come from McKinsey say that only 2% of retail transactions on this continent are electronic. So, I mean, there's a huge scope to convert a lot of people that are using cash and carrying cash, which is quite risky, to get into some kind of digital financial services product.
Do you also not think, though, that the fact that a lot of South Africans have smartphones, as opposed to a lot of Kenyans who have feature phones, and M-Pesa in Kenya works with feature phones as well, whereas here people can do their online banking with their smartphones. Is that not a hindrance as well?
Look, I mean, the banking sector in South Africa is really doing a good job in terms of providing people with those financial services. But also the legislative framework does favor the banks, so it gives them kind of an undue monopoly in this kind of space. You've got the likes of ShopRite who have entered the space, so you can transfer money. But still, there's not much in terms of usability. You know, I can't just walk out of this building and get goods or services, which is really a hindrance.
So, in a nutshell, you're saying legislative frameworks should change?
I think the legislative framework needs to be looked at. You know, I mean, there needs to be a very fair balance between, you know, governments. It's in government's best interest to make sure that people are not using cash, so that they can monitor and tax accordingly, and also to prevent any kind of organized crime which operates on a cash basis. But they do need to soften up here and there and allow more innovation in this space.
All right, so Seth Mbele, digital strategist there at Digital Voodoo. Thank you very much for being a part of our network tonight.
My pleasure.
All right, sure. Now, we caught up with Kenyan band member Sauti Sol's Polycarp Otieno. He told us what his favorite piece of technology is.
I wanna be rich, I wanna be famous, I wanna have lots and lots of money. Soar above the clouds, I wanna be free, like Nelson Mandela. Stand tall like a pyramid, so courageous.
My name is Polycarp Otieno from Sauti Sol, and my favorite piece of technology has to be music production. Like how it's just evolved from all the analog stuff up to now you just need a laptop and a software and you have your music, because that's what I do. I'm a producer. So that's my favorite piece of technology.
Live and die in Africa. Hey, live and die in Africa.
Right now, as we wrap up South Africa's Heritage Month, we continue to look at technologies developed by Africans. This week, we have South Africa's How Rider app, which helps train commuters between Johannesburg, Pretoria, and the OR Tambo International Airport. The developer is Litasoizwapi.
I reside in Rosebank. I use the How train every day. But I wanted to, when I was teaching myself how to code, I wanted to create an actual software that was going to go out to the market. To create something that I can use and other people can use as well. My app gives you the How trains schedule. It's a drag and drop functionality. All you do, you just drag where you're from and then drop where you're going to. And then it tells you the minutes left before departure time, how much the trip will cost, and the expected time of arrival in one single drag and drop. And it doesn't use data. It works even if you're offline on flight mode. For now, it's iPhone. It's iPhone because the market, first of all, I wanted to sell the app at the store. I wanted to gauge my success by market buying my app at the store so that it can be a quality app. But there are future plans. I've already done the Android one. It's ready, but in South Africa, we can't sell apps at Google Store. That's one thing that I want it to be fixed, because we can buy apps from other developers from around the world, but we can't sell to our own market. I think I've got a problem with that.
That's all we have for you from me and the rest of the team. You can find me on SABC Network on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, #SABC Network. From me and the rest of the team, have a good one. We leave you with Heritage Day celebrations in South Africa. Bye-bye.
Health Talk unpacks healthy tips to help you to practice healthy living lifestyles.
Now, generally, type 1 is found mostly in children.